Person, his staff, everybody with Duke's Mayo, Joe, Will, just everybody involved. I mean, this was an elite experience. I mean, you hope to go to bowl games and do things that you can't do at home. And we did so many things we can't do. Speed limit is 55 miles an hour in the city of Minneapolis. If you go 56, you probably won't. So to be able to go 170, 180 miles an hour in NASCAR, the experience was second to none. And I'm a huge NASCAR fan. Go Joey Logano. Huge fan. So that was a huge experience for us, an elite experience for us. Players got a chance to go do a shopping spree at Belk, which was great, and some great community service too. And our guys compete in that like I think there is no other. Congratulations to Virginia Tech, Coach Pry, his team. They're a really good football team. I said this a long time ago, and we both dealt with opt-outs, and we both dealt with some injuries, and we'll get to all that stuff. Some of our guys had some surgery, some moved on to the NFL, some it was close whether they're going to play or not. But I told you that team out there, that ACC team, Virginia Tech, I mean, they had ability to probably win 9-10 games as good as they were in the regular season. I mean, they're one or two plays away from that happening. He's a really good football coach, and I got a lot of respect for him and his players. I mean, that was a really good football game. It was a physical game. But we were really thankful to be 1-0. Really proud of our players, proud of our organization, proud of our staff, proud of our athletic director, Mark Boyle, and President Cunningham, and like I said, all the fans that made the trip. So I want to thank all the media that came from Minneapolis. It means a lot. I know that's time out of your day and time out of your week. So it means a lot. Thanks for covering our program. And I'm sure you have a lot of questions, but there's just a lot of gratitude and a lot of thanks to a lot of people. And when you win your sixth bowl game, and how long we've been here? 9 years, 8 years, really 8 years, because 2020 we opted out of our chance to do that. So so 6 bowl wins and 6 bowl opportunities, and really, was that 7 or 8 years?
6 and 7.
6 and 7 years. That's pretty good with the opportunity to do that. So anyway. Really proud of our players. It's about them, so I'm sure you have a lot of questions. We'll open it up.
Questions, second round.
Coach Steve Reed, Associated Press. First, the important stuff. Takes us through the celebration, and saw you put on a necktie, and then you threw off the skull cap, and then you took it. Tell me about without a hat on, by the way.
I mean, yeah, well, that's the advantage of being bald. Actually, I tell my own children I'm not bald. I choose to shave my head, so there's a big difference in that. For all those guys that choose to shave their heads, I'm right there with you. But it does, I thought it'd slide right off. It did not. It stayed. But that was a very unique experience. We went to one of the most exhilarating experiences with NASCAR to one of the most unique experiences. But I told our players, I mean, if they had 15 tubs of those, I would have done all 15. It's worth it to be a champion at the end of the year. It's one of the great traditions of bowl games, and I hope one day we never ever go away from bowl games. I think that's what makes college football really, really special. Not everybody's going to the college football playoff. Not everybody's doing that. But you can leave opportunities for young people to be champions at the end of the year, and that springboards their season into the following year. And all the traditions and quirks, and whether it's getting Cheez-Its dumped on you, whether it's a Pop-Tart thing, or not to give them all marketing, but I think we did our fair share with our necktie of Duke's Mayo and where it's the Mayo bath. I mean, that's what makes college football really special, and that's what makes it really fun, and that's what makes it different. And I hope we never take those things away from our student athletes. And yeah, so the reward for the winning coach is unique, that's for sure. And just really, really thankful for Duke's Mayo.
Second round.
PJ, what can you say about Elijah Spencer's journey over these 2 years to go from what he went through to be the bowl MVP?
Yeah, I mean, it's just ironic, isn't it? And we knew after, Daniel Jackson had a little cleanup here and there, and we didn't know if he'd make it to the game. And there's a decision point at some point where you as a coach want to know, and he wants to know so he can plan his future. But I give Daniel Jackson a lot of credit for staying with this football program and being there day in, day out at practice and coaching up the young guys. And that's a true leader. That's what you want out of one of your captains. And Elijah had an opportunity to be the #1 guy and step into his role. And being in the Queen City meant a lot to him, and being in Charlotte meant a lot to him. And I thought that showed in his preparation. I thought that showed in Coach Harbaugh's game plan and our offensive staff for him. We didn't start the fastest, but I thought we executed the game plan really, really well once we got going, and it couldn't happen to a better person. I mean, Elijah Spencer really loves Charlotte. He loves the Queen City. He was really excited once we got named to the Duke's Mayo Bowl. He was probably the most excited, and everybody was. And just ironic, he was named MVP. And it's a fitting end to his career. And I think he had 2 great years with us. Last year, did some really positive things, but that's what development is. It's not just about portal play. It's about, if you get him in the portal, you got to develop him, and you still got to mesh him with your team. And I meant what I said in that team. It's hard to find college football teams and college football connection on teams in 2024/2025. And this team has it, and I thought Elijah Spencer was a great example of that today.
Other questions for Coach? Front row.
You ready?
Yeah, for the PJ, it seemed like anytime you need a bit of a lift there, Darius was there for you.
Yeah, he was. I thought he ran really hard today. I thought Jared Mayo ran really hard today. And with Marcus Major not being here, and you look at 3 starting offensive linemen not here, that's another thing. So when you look at, Ashton Beers and Tony Nelson and, even Nathan Roy got some time today. Martez Lewis played great today and stepped into his role. We're going to need him next year in a huge role for us. So Quinn Carroll leading the way, Greg Johnson doing what he does. And I just thought that Darius played really, really hard. I thought, we had a talk before the game of like, you're going to have to play one of your best games. And you're really going to have to be there for the O-line and lift them up and really help some of those guys who haven't played a ton. You're going to have to help them through that. I think we had 9 or 10 starters out. I know Virginia Tech had their fair share, but that's part of it. And I'm really proud of our guys stepping in, stepping up. But Darius deserves a lot of credit. He's a really good player. He's a really good football player, and I thought he did a great job tonight running the football.
Second row.
PJ, what did you think of Heatherman's defensive game plan and the way that it was executed?
I thought it was excellent. And Ryan, I mean this in the best coaching way I can put it. You are preparing for ghosts. You have no idea. There's no tendencies to look at with the coordinators. Right? You got quarterbacks who you don't know who's going to actually play. You don't know who's going to start. They're rotating quarterbacks. You don't know what kind of system they're going to or what defense they're going to actually play. All those things go out the window. That's 6 weeks of prep. You've got to have a plan for everything, and then a contingency plan for that plan. And I thought Corey Heatherman, defensive staff, did a great job, and I call it preparing for ghosts. They had 2 huge stops inside the 20-yard line that were absolutely massive for us to be able to do what we did. Swarm to the ball, condense the pocket on 18. That kid's a really good player. He can move, he can run, he can throw, he's agile. We knew that he'd be a problem. But I thought we did a really good job condensing the pocket. When they did run the football, we were able to get some negative runs. I thought we covered really well down the field. There were maybe 1 or 2 that we let go that, they got us on one of them. We were just a tad too late getting to the quarterback where he makes a really good throw on a crossing pattern that was kind of an out, kind of a mesh concept and a wheel at the same time. They did a really good job, good play design. But I thought, I thought for the most part, I thought we dominated on defense, and those 2 stops inside the 20 were absolutely huge.
Other questions for Coach?
PJ, there was a number of young players that played tonight. Which ones of those stood out to you?
I'll have to go back and look at the film, but it's tremendous getting like Nathan Roy experience. He's somebody we're going to rely on into the future. Who made some catches today was New Case. I think that was probably the one that we really needed to come along, and this was huge for his 2025 season. We're going to need New Case, and it's taken him a few years to develop. Part of that's new nutrition plan, the weight program. Not everybody's ready to play the minute they get here. Nuke has paid the price. Nuke has earned it, and I'm really, really proud of the progress he's made. He made a bunch of plays tonight.
PJ, you said you had a lot of stuff out of that tush push formation. Kind of an exclamation point on the game for you.
Yeah, we got a bunch of other stuff too. I love that formation. That's one of my favorites. You better be good at it if you coach at the University of Minnesota, in my opinion. It needs to be a staple. But I think Coach Harbaugh, he's the one that said the game, you want to end the game or you want to punt? And I'm like, well, I'd really like to end the game. You have a run play? He's like, Coach, we can end the game with what we call it. And, the tush, push, fake, and then the dump pass to the tight end. And I was like, you think it'll work? He goes, I wouldn't call it, but I think it'll work. Kind of like Matt Simon in the Outback Bowl to beat number 5 Auburn or whatever they were a few years back. Same type of thing. It has to be the exact. I haven't changed in all these years. You asked me how I've changed, Ryan. I mean, I guess I haven't changed because I said the same thing. You think it'll work? If you think it'll work, call it. Of course it's going to work. And if it didn't, they had no timeouts. They had 2 minutes to go. We felt like, you know, we were in a really good position, but we wanted to end the game. You can see they all came down into cover zero and really to stop the tush push. And I thought Max did a tremendous job. We've been practicing that play for years, believe it or not, and haven't ran it yet. And we've been practicing all year with Max. I had it last year. Just amazing how plays get called when the right opportunity comes along. And I'm just proud of our guys for executing it and ending the game. And Jameson Gears, what a catch. You know, he had a hand issue earlier in the game that he came out for, but talk about a tough kid, being able to persevere through that, block the way he did, and make the plays that he did downfield.
Thanks, Coach. Let's get to pride of Irmo, South Carolina.
You got it. Row the boat, Sky Mayo, Gophers. Thanks to all of our fans, and I present you the MVP, Mr. Elijah Spencer.
All right, questions for Elijah? Back row.
Elijah, Jack Taylor, WCCB Charlotte. Congrats on getting the MVP and being back in your area. What did it mean when you first heard you were going to be coming back to Charlotte to play in this bowl game?
It was big time, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think I would have an opportunity to play in front of, you know, all my friends and family. So it was, I say that was the biggest part that I was looking forward to. A lot of friends and family haven't seen me play, especially up in Minnesota. So being able to play right here, my backyard, why not?
How many people did you have out in the
I had,
crowd?
on the ticket list, I had like roughly 26.
Elijah, how would you describe this 2-year journey in Minnesota?
I'm honestly excited to sit down and reflect on my 2 years at Minnesota. I believe that I grew a lot. That's the biggest takeaway, growing as a person, honestly. I always knew that I had the capability on the field as a football player, but there was some things that I needed to grow up in off the field, you know, build character and truly figure out who I am, figure out my identity, step into life each and every day as who I am, who I believe that I'm meant to be. So a lot of it is off the field, but y'all just got to see the result that, you know, how my life changed on the field as well.
Elijah, could you take us through your 2 touchdown catches?
Yeah, no doubt. That first one, when Darius popped it up to me, we've been practicing that for almost a month now, back when we installed it. I remember I lined up, because we had caught it on the sideline. I had lined up. I'm reading it all. I'm like, oh man, this is going to work. I started fumbling from the mouth. And then when the ball was snapped, I went in to go execute how I was taught, how I was coached, and all just played out perfectly. The corner almost didn't fall off, which almost scared me. So I had to make an adjustment on the fly, and he fell off and turned around, and Darius Taylor, he just threw it up in the air right where I told him to put it. That was the scenario, and he did. We executed and scored. So shout out to UT, to be honest. And then on that second one, that's the big one for me. We had some, you know, going back and forth. Me and Matt's going back and forth, you know, how we want this play to look, how it should look, what spot I should get to. So to be able to go up there and do it and execute it like that and get a touchdown off of it after all the back and forth, I think that was big time. That was big time.
Elijah, did you envision yourself being here during last year, that you could produce like this on the stage?
I did, honestly, I did. I trust my capability to the fullest amount, you know, and to hear that we're coming back to Charlotte, to play in Charlotte in this ball game, I saw it as an opportunity, the biggest opportunity. This is my last game. So there was nothing stopping me from going out there and taking what was mine.
Anybody else for Elijah? All right, that's a wrap. Good job, man.
Appreciate y'all.
Thanks, Elijah.
Congratulations.